This particular video is all about doing some writing based on The Beast with a Thousand Teeth by Terry Jones. Hopefully you've already just watched the video of The Beast with a Thousand Teeth, and this video now will get you thinking about some of the ideas and ways in which you could actually do a piece of writing that's based on that story. So first things first, we need to think a little bit about what kind of story it is. Well, you probably already thought while you were listening to it that this must be a defeating a monster story. Now, you might have written a defeating a monster story before. Okay, so if you have, then you may have an idea of how to perhaps change a story, innovate on a story and make it seem just like your own story, but pinch some really good ideas, magpie those great ideas. So what can we innovate on in this story of The Beast with a Thousand Teeth? Well, first of all, you can think about what the beast actually likes and think about your hero's job in this story. So Sam is a pastry cook and the beast absolutely loves pastries. So you can see that those two things go together. So can you change one of those things and then change it so that it matches what the beast likes? So perhaps Sam might like something or is able to have a skill or does something particularly good. Maybe his job is something particularly different. Maybe it could be something to do with the type of sport or something, I'm not sure. Or maybe Sam has another job to make something else, which could therefore affect what the beast actually likes and how the beast can then be defeated. What Sam has to do for the beast later on in the story if he's captured by the beast. All right. So the other thing to notice about the story is how clever it is in that the beast isn't actually killed off in some kind of gory way. In fact, what happens is the beast changes his ways, and he has to change his ways because of the way he's kind of defeated by Sam. Sam makes it so that he ends up having all his teeth gone, and so therefore the beast can't eat anybody anymore. So what will happen to the beast in your story that means maybe that they can't eat anybody anymore at all? Think about what that could be. It's quite a clever thing to be able to do. Other things to remember then. I want you to think back to if you've done a defeating a monster toolkit. So think about what sort of things that you'd put into your toolkit for defeating a monster. You need to make sure that you've got the structure of the story sorted out. Think about how we introduce the story, introduce our hero and his job, a little bit about his family, and how that therefore links right to the end of the story. How Sam starts off in the story living with his parents and talks about the reward for getting rid of the beast, and at the end of the story it beautifully ties up in that Sam actually has the monster living with him at the end and ends up getting all the reward as well from the king. So it works out beautifully. In between there's a problem, and there's all kind of sort of build up in that problem, and throughout there Sam is able to defeat the monster, and so we end up with that lovely story structure all the way through. See if you can have a really good structure to your story as well. Other things to remember. Maybe you could perhaps think about the description of the monster, and perhaps you can innovate on that. Think about what the monster could look like. How is the monster different to the monster in this story? How is the beast different? Okay, so how can you do that? Well, you could think a little bit about different uses of similes to describe it, or you could maybe do some different power of three descriptions. Think about all the powerful adjectives and the powerful verbs that you could use to describe the creature, what it does. Think about what it feels like. Think about using your senses, and think about what it would feel like, say, to the touch. What it sounds like. What does his voice sound like? What kind of noise does it make as it moves around? Okay? The other thing then you could think about would be the setting of where the monster, the beast, lives. So where could your beast live? Could your beast live in some kind of, rather than it being in a cave, maybe it lives perhaps somewhere in the deep, darkest depths of a forest, or maybe it lives near the top of a mountain. How would you describe your beast's place of living? What would its home be like? And again, you can use a really good power of three to describe that. Think about when your character, your hero, is perhaps taken back to that place. What does it look like? What does your main character see? What does your hero see when they get there? Do they see something? What do they smell? What do they hear? And you could do a nice power of 3 based on those things as well. All right? So, we're thinking then, just to recap, structure of the story. Think about how you can innovate on the way in which Sam, or your hero, whatever you're going to call him, whatever your hero and your beast, what they like and what job your hero does. Those two things is the hardest thing to do, but have a good think about it. You never know, I'm sure you'll come up with a great idea. And the other things to really innovate on are the setting and the description of your monster, and see where you go from there. And I'm sure you're going to write a fantastic story. After you've done that, don't forget to edit it. Don't forget to make sure that you want it to be your absolute best. So check it for your punctuation. Check it for how well you've punctuated your speech as well, because that's really important. We need to remember those commas in the right places, or if we need to put punctuation just inside those inverted commas. And then, when you've done that, why not write your story out beautifully and best? Why not illustrate your story and make it look amazing? Then, finally, I think you'll enjoy doing this. You watched me as I read the story. I love reading stories, okay? Maybe you could read your story and you could get somebody in your family then to video that story as well of you reading it. And that will be an amazing thing for you to show that you've done all based on Terry Jones's story, The Beast with 1,000 Teeth. Good luck.